And now to the story that is still raging back home. This was an emotional day in Washington where the topic was the unfolding scandal over treatment at Walter Reed Army Hospital. The story tonight from NBC's Jim Miklaszewski.
Today's testimony was heart-wrenching.
Building 18, honestly, I hate to say it was like ghetto.
Specialist Jeremy Duncan, wounded in Iraq, is the one who blew the whistle on conditions at Walter Reed.
It was unforgivable for anybody to live. It wouldn't fit for anybody to live in a room like that.
Staff Sergeant Daniel Shannon still loses his train of thought.
Sorry, take your time.
When I was first here,
He's got permanent brain damage and lost an eye when shot in the head.
I want to leave this place.
Annette McLeod's husband has such serious brain damage, she has to speak for him.
This is how we treat our soldiers. But they're good enough to go and sacrifice their life, and we give them nothing.
Congressional lawmakers were outraged. Their wrath aimed primarily at the Army Surgeon General, Lieutenant General Kevin Kiley, former commander at Walter Reed.
I think this is a massive failure of competence in management and command.
Yes, sir.
When was the first time you heard about these kinds of problems?
When I saw the articles in the Washington Post.
In fact, Kiley admitted he never inspected the infamous Building 18, where soldiers lived with mice and mold on the walls.
I live across the street, but I don't do barracks inspections at Walter Reed.
The scandal cost Major General George Waitman his command at Walter Reed. Today, he personally apologized to the soldiers and their families.
I'd just like to apologize for not meeting their expectations. I promise we will do better.
Army officials say it's also expected Lieutenant General Kiley will be forced to retire over the scandal. Jim Miklaszewski, NBC News, the Pentagon.
And with us tonight is Dana Priest, the Washington Post reporter who originally broke this story. And Dana, this story got so much larger today. Every day it seems to add on. Where do you see it now spreading from here?
You know, it's quite large, Brian. We have received thousands of tips, documents, stories pouring in from all over the country, from Army and Navy facilities, from people in Baghdad where you are. They're coming from soldiers and family members and veterans and doctors and nurses, and they all have one message, and that is it's not just Walter Reed. They are talking about a dysfunctional bureaucracy, about neglect, about indifference from people who treat them, about substandard housing, and really many of them are coming and telling us about horror stories in veterans hospitals all over the world. These are issues now that the government says it's going to start to address.
At least everybody here has the same goal, and that's proper treatment for American troops. Dana Priest in the Washington Post newsroom in Washington tonight. Thanks.